Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith, it's Smith in the Black, and we're coming into the fourth quarter macro vid. Let's take a look. So SPY on the quarter, still 2 up, and that's just how it's been since the 3-1-2-2-2-2-2. So to have a quarterly breakdown in the fourth quarter, you'd have to break the SPY below 421.97. Nowhere near that right now. Yearly we know it's 3-2 up. If you go to QQQ, also a 2 up on the quarter, so to have a reversal on the quarter, you'd need to take out 352.04, and nowhere near that right now. If you go to the diamonds, Dow Jones Diamonds Doji on the quarter. So either side of this baby, still 2 its way up though. And for breakdown would have to be 335.99. So we're not there anywhere near that. Small cappers, a little bit different of a story. So red, but middle of here was a 2 down, right? So the question is it going to go 2 up, 2 down, 2 up and go blasting into the highs to get that 22222 on the quarter? You'd have to be above 167.77. If we go to the transports, remote had a quarter down, quarter 2 up, 2 down on the quarter. So the transport's having a more difficult time, and to continue that too, you'd have to break down 241.25 or 222 back up over 263.99. If we go to the Utes, and the Utes selling off a little bit, still couldn't get out of the pandemic range. Tried to go up here, couldn't do it. So potential shooter, you got some distance on that, but 2 shooters in a row if they want to take it down, that would be below 63.10 if they start to bring those in. If we go to VNQ REITs, and VNQ REITs, potential shooter, but you got some distance on that on the quarter, 101.50. Obviously all these yearlies are up, so that's why we're not looking at those just yet. If we go to gold, and gold inside quarter, right? So if we can take these guys out here below 160.68 would be in trouble for gold. If we go to the XLE, and XLE sold off a little on the quarter but coming back, and this is going to be a little bit more interesting on the yearly as we finish off the year here. Still an inside year, so delayed rev strat because you had inside year to the downside, and now an inside year. You got some distance to take that out. Otherwise, you got an inside year coming for XLE, and OIH still would be inside year. If you go to the XLP, go to the quarter. Here, potential shooter here on the quarter. So that would be down below 69.31 in the XLP. If we go to XRT retail, we know that's been a little skewed, but let's see. Inside quarter for XRT. So either side of this thing to try and get out the mother bar here would be 98.47 or 89.81. If we go to IBB, and IBB was slight quarter to the upside, just exhaustion into the high. So but selling back off, so either side of this thing, 157.11 on the downside, 177.37 on the upside. If we go to XLK, and XLK still 2 on its way up, nowhere near coming back in, and SMH here, still middle of the range here for that quarter, so we'll see how that goes. If we go to the inside quarters coming into the fourth quarter, you got Ford Motor Company here, inside quarter, and dead in the middle of it. So you got 12.38 or 15.04 on the upside. For the apes, you got that AMC, and you are nowhere near not being an inside quarter on this baby. So here, I mean, you got to take out 57.71 or 28.91. Big range there. If we go to Tesla's, inside quarter for Tesla's, and that's going to be, it's still skirting the highs. Remember, we got 4 days left, so 774.80 or 620.46 on that. If we go to plug inside quarter here, closer to the downside, and that's 34.45 and 23.16. Go to DraftKings. And DraftKings dead in the middle. All right, so not being a good quarter, you'd have 64.58 or 42.21. If we go to memes, BB, there's ever going to be anything going here, 12.39 or 9.24. If you go to VICI, here, closer to the downside, but 32.29 or 28.96. If we go to Huntington Bank shares, Huntington Bank shares just kind of stuck down in here. Oops, that's wrong. HBAN here, inside, 1307 or 1578. And forgot to go FAS here, just a 2 up and closer to that stuff with XLF. Here, still a 2 up, and remember KRE. Here, trying to rev strat the quarter, KRE. So regional banks, because we know regional banks also would be our rev strat year. Here, 1, 2, 2, just into some exhaustion. So if we go to open, OPEN, inside on the quarter, closer to taking it out on the upside, and that would be 2047 as of right now, unless it trades up this week. FSR, Fisker, closer to the downside, but you got some distance on either side of that, 1948 or 1214. If you go to Mara, and the Bitkerners, and that's dead in the middle, but 44.97 or 2061. If we go to Space, inside quarter and closer to taking out that downside, and that downside would be 2306. If we go to Riot blockchain, Riot, inside, closer to the downside, and that would be below 2393. If we go to Slob, and we know inside year's coming, but Slob on the quarter, inside quarter, 3356 or 2590. If we go to Schwab, and Schwab, inside Momo Hammer, above 76. Go to Disney, inside quarter, 187.58 or 169.03. If we go to Viacom C, whoa boy, this mother bar, but you're closer to the downside, and that would be below 37.77. You go to WMB, 2701 or 2353. If we go to our BLX, inside quarter, nowhere near taking that out, so just be aware of that. US Bank here, closer to the upside in the inside quarter, above 60.32. Go to RTX, inside quarter, and still mother bar from the pandemic, but getting closer to taking it out. If you can get above 89.46. If we go to Run, inside quarter, closer to the downside, and that would be below 40.74. Big Mo, 5108 or 46.13. If we go to Fubo, hard to see here, but inside quarter, 33.68 or 24.52. Go to Airbnb, inside quarter and closer to taking out the upside above 176.96. Go to ALLY, middle of the range, but you got 54.82 or 46.91. Go to AMAT, side-by-side potential, Momo Hammer, inside quarter above 145.25. IGT, inside Momo Hammer quarter above 25.36. Go to Coinbase, all sorts of trouble here, and closer to the downside, below 213.22. If you go to BLDP, closer to the downside here in the quarter, below 14.44, but you're right there, so we got a few more days here. Rocket Meme Puker, quarter down below 16.23. Bumble, inside quarter, nowhere near taking that out. If you go to IBM, inside quarter, closer to the downside at 132.78 or above 147.50. Go Go to Wendy's. Nowhere near taking it out, but in the middle, but 21.50 and 24.40. CVS. Inside quarter, it's also inside year or not, but if you can take that, 187.89. NLOC. Nowhere near taking it out, but you do have 28.68 and 23.67. TDOC. TDOC, closer to taking out the lows. 130.93 would do that, and so we'll see how that goes. MVIS. Closer to the downside on the quarter, 11.56. Go to AVIR. AVIR, inside quarter. Big Mulder bar issues, but closer to taking out the upside if you can take out 34.47. UPS. And UPS closer to going quarter down, and that would be 182.12. Lennar, home builder. Inside quarter. 110.14, 94.07. We can take a look at XHB. XHB, did you make it? No, slight 2 down. It's just dojiing out. If we go to Home Depot, inside quarter, closer to taking it out the upside above 339.64. Keep an eye on that for how it closes out the end of the week and the month. SunPower, more solars. 2042 to the downside. Beyond the Meats. Beyond the Meats inside quarter and closer to taking it out to the downside. 104.02. Murphy Oil. MUR. Dead in the middle, but we'll see. 25.23 or 18.44. ENB. Closer to Momo Hammer, above 40.70. MGNI. Inside quarter, middle of the range, so we'll see. Got a big Mulder bar in here, so we'll see on that. iPaper. iPaper, closer to taking out the lows. 54.80 would do that on the downside. GameStonk. Inside quarter. Inside quarter, and Mulder bar issues forever. 231.44 or 145.22. FIGS. Oh boy. That's big Mulder bar, and it's got nowhere near taking it out, but if you go to the downside, it'd be 34.13. If we go to Triple D, inside quarter, closer to the downside, that would be below 23.24. Live Nation. Closer to taking out the upside, inside quarter, Momo Hammer above 93.09. Patterson Energy. Inside quarter, 10.58 or 6.44. Yikes. If we go to Prudential. Doji on the quarter, 108.54, 94.51 on the downside. STX dead in the middle, 94.48, 78.86. John Deere. Inside quarter, closer to the downside, below 328.93. NTR. And closer to the upside, 65.11. It's right there, so you can see how that closes out the quarter and the month. Allstate. Allstate dead doji in the quarter, 139.45, 124.80. Crispy, CRSP. Closer to the downside, 113.34 as of right now. Go to MMP. MMP, 50.64, 44.76. Go to Triple N in the REITs. Closer to the downside. Right here, 43.89. So keep an eye on how that closes out. CHGG. And That's real close to just taking it out. So right now 72.40. So we'll see how that closes out. BXP in the REITs. 120.25, 107.68. CMS. And closer to the downside, and that would be 58.63. Kimberly Clark. Oh boy, stuck in here. 140, 183, or 129.64. Sienna. Closer to the downside. 50.34 on the downside there. BIIB, closer to taking the downside here at 285.40, so you can see how that closes out because you're pretty close to that. LRCX. LRCX, side quarter, 659.49 or 559.83. SSYS. And with the triple D closer to the downside at 1855. Shake Shack. Closer to the downside, below 80.30. SWKS. Closer to the downside in the quarter, and that would be below 167.85. Corvo. Closer to the downside, below 167.89. Northrop Grumman. Below 344.89. Inside year and up. LPTX above 318. CVS inside year and up here still above 76.44. AUPH outside year. One bar rev strat over 21.81. IC inside year to the upside here over 8.79. There we go, 100%er. BCRX above 8.99. INMD. Boom. There you go. Nowhere near not taking that out. ORMP. Nowhere near not taking that out. Hershey's. Inside year and up. Momo Hammer. Above 161.83. JCS. Here. Nowhere near taking that back down. So, and ITCI. Inside year and up, hits some magnitude and comes back in, so we'll see, but that's still good over 34.31. Hammer on the quarter, UFAB, above 409. ATER, quarter, above 1910. CCL, hammer counter, shooter quarter, over 26.85. Palantir, Momo Hammer, again here, over 29.29. So like maybe RevStrat quarter here, huh? RevStrat quarter hammer up American Airlines over 22.16. Bank of America, hammer up over 42.84. Uber, hammer up quarter over 52.03. QS over 29.83. LCID outside quarter hammer 3-2 would be up over 29.81 for the apes. SOFI over 19.24. And CLH, more Pandemia. RevStrat, quarter over 30.05. Citicorp. Hammer counter shooter quarter over 74.64. PCG. Over 1053. Delta. RevStrat quarter. Over 4454. Conoco. Momo Hammer. Quarter. Over 6569. Devon Energy. Momo Hammer. Over 3334. APA Hammer. Over 2261. Airlines, JetBlue. Not a RevStrat quite, had some hires, but the Hammer over 1736. Southwest Air. Hammer up over 5438. HST, more pandemics. Hammer counter shoot over 1750. GE. RevStrat quarter over 10904. RCL, more pandemics. RevStrat quarter over 9132. EOG, more energy. Hammer quarter over 8638. MetLife. Hammer counter shoot over 6308. Match.com. Outside hammer, 1 bar RevStrat, but hammer, Momo Hammer above 171.52. Good tires. Hammer counter shooter over 1812. MPC. Refiner over 6228. EXPE, more pandemics. RevStrat quarter over 172.55. Lift. Slight lower low, hammer. So RevStrat over 63.07. General Mills. Stuck in here, but it would be hammer up over 61.58. Letter H, more pandemics. RevStrat quarter over 81.96. Analog devices. ADI, Momo Hammer above 178.84. Fang Energy. Outside hammer 3.2 would be above 102.53. PXD Energy. Hammer up over 168.69. More airlines, Alaska Air. Hammer up over 61.75. All these pandemics. Play. RevStrat quarter over 42.27. KSS. Doji hammer up over 60.50. SM, more energy. Above 26.48. Caesars. Outside Momo Hammer over 114.60. Iova. It's an inside quarter hammer though, but above 27. SPG reit. Momo Hammer above 137.38. Prudential. And that's just inside, we know that one. So. PNC Bank. Inside quarter, Momo Hammer. Go to CLR. Momo Hammer and the energy over 45.04. Go to XCC. Momo Hammer energy over 81.90. Nectar Hammer quarter over 1867. You're close to that, so we'll see how that closes out. LPX, hammer counter shooter, over 6605. HFC refiner, RevStrat quarter, over 3386. CTXS, hammer up over 11907. Yelp. And outside quarter be 4328 to the upside. Inside year to the downside, AXSM below 3544 and QURE. Inside year down below 3438. Hammer up year. Ford Motor Company still good. Go to bunch of the banks, Bank of America, still hammer up. You got to know that you have Cisco here, hammer up year 222. We know that there's going to be a bunch of those regional banks because of the RevStrat on the KRE. There's HBAN, all that kind of FitB, all that kind of stuff. You have PM. RevStrat year to the upside. Yum Brands, 2222 hammer. DRI hammer year to the upside, still going. Shooter year down, VRTX below 197.47. Shooter on the quarter, Nike below 148. Shooter on the corner, Facebook 334.40. Pfizer, you got some distance on that, but that would be below 38.93. Letter X. Looks like an outside shooter below 3.2 down below 20.54. Comcast. Shooter quarter down below 55.40. Coke. Shooter down quarter below 53.55. Kroger. RevStrat quarter down below 37.26. Robin Hood. Oh, we'll leave that be. If we go to Walmart, RevStrat quarter down below 138.22. Johnny John. RevStrat quarter down below 162.16. Letter O in the REITs. Shooter down, mother bar issues from pandemia, below 65.75. Starbucks. Shooter quarter down below 110.38. Nucor. Steel. Shooter below 87.71. Target. Shooter quarter down below 239.56. DHI. Home Builder, Momo Shooter, Shooter, side by side, 84.79. Fiserv. Momo Shoot by making it a lower low below 105.48. UNH below 401.81. Let's take a look at XLV real quick. And that's middle of the range on 2-quarter. Honeywell. Shooter below 214.19. STLD. More steel. Below 54.90. Emerson Electric. Shooter down below 93.25. Lilly. Shoot it down below 227.29. ES. Looks like RevStrat quarter down below 79.57. Docu. 322 shooter down on the quarter below 263.89. DG. Shooter down quarter below 215.10. DLR. Below 149.66. Deckers. 368.37. Autodesk. RevStrat quarter below 278.46. Eaton Corp. Below 146.99. EXR. REIT. Below 162.77. Shop. Below 1393.01. And I think we'll leave it there, and that's going to conclude the macro vid coming into the fourth quarter.